October 1908, 97 Orchard Street, a tin charity box above the stove. One family fed it for 31 years. That's number 9. A jar of preserves knocked 25 cents off the rent every winter. Number 8. 15 forgotten money tricks of the Lower East Side. Let's begin. Subscribe. Number 15. The Friday chicken. 22 cents on Hester Street in 1910 bought a 4-pound bird. Here's what most people miss. It wasn't dinner, it was a calendar. Friday night, breast meat on the Sabbath table. Saturday, cold thighs sliced thin. Sunday, the carcass went into a pot with onion skins and carrots and became soup for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, the picked clean bones got boiled a second time for a thinner broth with barley. Thursday, the schmaltz rendered from the skin fried potatoes. 1 bird, 7 meals, 6 people. A modern family of 6 spends about $210 a week on groceries. Mala Bernstein spent under 3. Number 14. The push cart closing hour. 7 p.m. on Hester Street. The cart started packing up. Pears with a bruise on one side went for 6 cents a pound, a third of the morning price. Here's the rule the wives knew, and the husbands didn't need to. A bruise doesn't survive a simmer. Anything going into a pot was bought at sundown. Anything eaten raw was bought at sunrise. The same fruit, the same cart, the same vendor, a different hour, a different price. Number 13. The icebox cooperative. A block of ice on Eldridge Street cost 15 cents. 3 families on one tenement floor split it 3 ways, 5 cents apiece instead of 15, and rotated whose food sat closest to the ice each week, based on what was most likely to spoil. One wife kept the schedule in pencil on the inside of a cabinet door. Annual savings per family, about $11. Let me show you what that meant. Rent on that floor ran $9 a month. The icebox arrangement paid more than a month of rent without anyone earning an extra cent. It was an appliance the building owned together before the building knew it owned anything. Number 12, the herring barrel split. A schmaltz herring off a push cart cost 4 cents. The same fish, in a wholesale barrel on Houston Street, ran 28 cents for 80. Once a month, 4 wives pooled their money, 7 cents each, and walked the barrel home between them. 20 herring per household at under a penny apiece. The wife who organized the walk took 2 extra fish as her fee, and nobody argued. She'd done the work. $14 saved per family per year. The trick wasn't the barrel. The trick was knowing that the push cart price and the wholesale price were the same fish, and that 4 women could close the distance between them in an afternoon. Number 11. The tailor's remnant bag. This is the one I teased at the top. A presser or a finisher in a Ludlow Street sweatshop carried home a cloth bag of scraps at the end of the week. Pieces too small for the factory to bother with, free for the taking. Those scraps became children's pants, quilt squares, coat linings, patches. A family that would have spent $45 a year on cloth and ready-made clothes spent under 3. The savings, on about $42 annually, exceeded 4 months of rent. The cost of the trick was nothing. The cost of not knowing the trick was a third of a year's shelter. Number 10. The Hebrew Free Loan Society. Founded in 1892 with a starting fund of $95. The rule was simple, no interest ever. 2 neighbors signed as collateral, and the loan ran from $5 to $50. By 1914, the society had loaned out more than $1 million on the Lower East Side alone. The default rate stayed under 1%. Let me show you what that meant. A modern unsecured personal loan runs around 12% APR. The same $100 borrowed for a year cost you $12 today and cost a Ludlow Street pushcart peddler in 1905 exactly nothing. Number 9. The pushke on the shelf. A tin charity box, usually blue and white, sat above the stove in tens of thousands of kitchens. A penny went in on Friday before lighting the candles. 2 pennies on a good week. One Hester Street family fed that pushke for 31 years without drawing from it once. In 1918, with typhoid in the building and 3 children sick, they took $8 out. And over the next 4 years, without being asked, paid it back. They were never asked to. The pushke wasn't charity. It was an insurance policy paid in pennies, held by a community that remembered who paid in. Number 8. The landlord's negotiated month. Every October before the heating season, the wife walked down to the landlord's office with a small jar of homemade preserves and asked for 25 cents off the rent through March. Roughly 1 in 3 landlords said yes. The math was on her side. A reliable tenant who paid on the first was worth more than the quarter. One Rivington Street family ran the trick for 14 winters and saved about $21 over those years. The preserves cost 8 cents to make. This one is still legal. Barely. But try walking into a property management office in Manhattan today with a jar of jam and asking for a rent reduction. The position has been eliminated, and the jam wouldn't make it past the front desk. Number 7. The coal cellar timing. On Ludlow Street in August, coal sold for about $4 a ton because nobody was buying. In January, the same coal ran $5.80. Families who could scrape together $4 in summer bought their winter heat in August and stored it under a piece of canvas in the cellar against the back wall, where it stayed dry. The trick required cash on hand in the off-season, which is why it ran on number 10. The Hebrew free loan funded the August purchase, and the winter savings paid the loan back by April. One trick fed the other. The annual savings ran about $1.80. The real value was that no family on that arrangement panicked in January when the coal trucks raised their prices and the wind came off the East River. Number 6. The Landsmannschaft Burial Society. 25 cents a month bought a funeral, sickness benefits, and access to an emergency loan fund. Commercial life insurance at the time ran about $14 a year for less coverage and slower payouts. By 1914, there were over 2,000 Landsmannschaften in New York, each one organized around the town in Europe people had come from. The Bialystoker Society, the Minsker Society, the Society for Men from a single shtetl outside Kovno that had maybe 40 members in America. You paid $0.25 a month, and you knew with certainty that you would be buried, that your widow would eat, and that your name would be said by people who had known your grandfather. Number 5. The Invisible Ledger. This is the one I teased at the top. The wife kept the household accounts in 2 places, most of it in her head, the rest in a small black book in the kitchen drawer under the linen. The husband never asked to see it. He wasn't kept out by force. He was kept out by custom, and the custom held for a reason. On Rivington Street in 1914, one family lived on an income of $468 a year and saved $84 of it. The husband, if you'd asked him, would have guessed they saved maybe $40. The other $44 was the margin she protected by never letting him know it existed. No Gentile in the building ever heard about the book. Number 4. The dowry tin's compounding rule. Most families kept a tin for each unmarried daughter, usually on a high shelf, usually behind something. The rule that made the tin work wasn't the saving, it was the timing. Any windfall, a 50-cent piecework bonus, a found nickel, the soda bottle money a son brought home, went into the oldest daughter's tin before it touched the household budget. Before the wife counted it, before the husband knew about it, before the week's bills opened their mouths. Windfalls were treated as already spent the moment they appeared. By the time a daughter married at 19, her tin held between $180 and $240 in coins. One Suffolk Street mother married 3 daughters in 5 years on tin money alone. Money you never saw was money you never spent. Number 3. The refused raise. This one